Alright, so happy 4th of July, everybody. Let's take a quick look over at our vegetable garden. I see some good things and some not so good things happening. Let's check out and see what we got. Okay, so early in the morning here, walking around the garden. I guess I missed it, but we'll come up close here. I have squash loaded on the vines. I haven't had any squash just about most of the season. I can see out here the bees. There's bees are all out here this morning pollinating all these flowers. There's a lot of bees out here, so that's a really good sign. But if we come down close, we have squash just loaded here. Come over here, there's some more. I mean, these are almost too big. I like to pick them a little bit smaller than this usually, but you know what? Hey, those look pretty good. So this squash plant here that is making is from the High Mowing Seeds Company that was supposed to be powdery mildew resistant, and it's obviously in very good shape. But I do have quite a bit of bug problem in the garden. If we look closely here, you can see these seeds or eggs on the leaves, and that right there is not a good sign. There's some more over here. So we've had a real bug problem in our squash bed this year, but there's we do finally have some squash growing. Amazing. Haven't been out here for a few days, so let's see what else we got. Out here, zucchini. I don't really see any zucchini growing. Okay, let's check this out. We got a pumpkin here. I'm not sure. I think this is the I don't remember what kind of variety I planted, but it's the other variety. I got the Kakai pumpkin and one other variety. Got a small, it's just finally growing there. You can see the bees just buzzing around, pollinating all these flowers. Keep on walking down here a little longer, see what we got. I haven't seen any watermelon out here. Here's another plant with the flower. I think this is another pumpkin. Has a little fruit at the end. We'll just let that grow, see what it comes to. But we do have good bugs also in the garden, which is a nice thing. Zoom in here, we have some ladybugs. So there are good bugs and bad bugs. That's why you do not want to use chemical pesticides in your garden, because you'll kill the good and the bad. But wow, the bees are just flying around here. Amazing. The bees are all throughout this flowers. So there's our squash pumpkin bed there, growing pretty nicely. Here's the blackberries. We've been harvesting some of these. Still not quite ready on some of them. I think I may be losing some to birds. I'm going to see if I can find some netting to put over these, since these are the thornless blackberry varieties here. But so far, pretty good on the blackberries. Here I have our pole beans. I believe this is the Kentucky Wonder pole beans. They are still making beans out here, and we've already hit 106 one day this past week. It's cooled down a little bit, and they still have blooms on them. So the pole beans are still doing really well. Amazing, actually. First year to grow these, and most definitely we'll keep on growing these again. I mean, there's just beans everywhere. You get out here and pick these beans. I mean, I could build this trellis a lot taller. I mean, they've just topped it and just keep on growing here. It's just amazing how big this trellis is. Probably at least 6 feet tall. Check out my previous video on how we built this trellis. So yeah, we're gonna get out here and pick these pole beans. Really looking good. This other variety, the rattlesnake variety pole bean, didn't do it as well. I think it's about done. It's kind of dying off. There are some blooms on it. Then our cucumbers here are finally making cucumbers. I pulled one off the other day. And if we look in here, see if I can find it. There's one cucumber hanging out there. I've been trying to trellis this up a little bit on just kind of have to guide the vine on its own here. So I'll get out here and adjust that a little bit. But the cucumbers we've been struggled with this year. I'm not sure why. But they are making a few finally. These are some more cucumbers I planted later on in this season. They've got some flowers on them. So hopefully we'll have some more cucumbers soon. Keep on coming along down here. These are our bush beans. Looks like I still have some bush beans still growing. Oh yeah, look at this. Haven't been out here in a while. Yeah, we got quite a bit of bush beans on the plants. Wasn't sure if they were going to keep on making in this heat, but they most definitely are. Over here is our newly planted tomatoes. They're looking really healthy, growing. So far so good. Here's some Brussels sprouts I've been just letting grow. This is more of a cool weather crop, obviously, but I think I'm going to go ahead and pull these plants up today and harvest these Brussels sprouts. Probably time to get them pulled up before the bugs get to them. See what we have with Brussels sprouts. Last fall I had a really good crop of Brussels sprouts, and these are looking pretty good too, actually. So I'll harvest these Brussels sprouts today. Okay, so this here is the black-eyed peas, purple hull, pink-eye peas, and there's one other variety I forget the name of, but they're actually grown well. This is one plant that you can most definitely grow in the hot summer heat, and these have had no effect on the heat whatsoever. They just keep on growing nice. So most definitely recommend this. First year to grow these. But if we zoom in here, you can see they're starting to make actual beans or peas on them. Got flowers there, so they're coming along. Be excited to see how these turn out. So there's our black-eyed peas we've been growing. Just really looking good. Then of course over here we have our different pepper plants. They're doing really well. They do pretty good for the heat. Got some serranos here loaded down. And over here is another bell pepper plant. These are a small pepper plant. Come up this way. We have some jalapenos that are already ripened up. Red. Then if we come up over here real quick, this is the lychee tomato plant. They got a lot of flowers on them still. I haven't received any lychee tomatoes yet that I can eat. I think actually a bird's got a few, but here is some growing. So not sure about this plant just yet. I haven't actually gotten any fruit off of it. So we'll see what happens with that. So here I am in the front of the house. These are front flower beds. I actually had one lychee tomato that was extra I wanted to plant. And this one has got, looks like it's doing better. It may have some lychee tomatoes on it pretty soon. So that's pretty cool. I'll just show you a real quick overview of our front flower beds. We've got some lantana, different lantana that really grows great here. Or knockout roses. Flowers here. And then this is lemongrass. I planted this year. I got it at the local market, and it is doing great. So this is doing really great here. So over here where I got some of my herbs, we planted these mint early this spring, and this thing is just growing huge. Amazing how much mint we have here. And so very, very simple plant to grow, and it's doing fine in the summer heat. Got our rosemary, of course, here, getting much bigger finally. Over here is our oregano. If you see, if I can zoom in close enough, these things are loaded with bees. This is a great plant to attract bees with. See if I can get in close here. I'm not sure if I can find the bees in this camera lens, but they got flowers all over these oregano, and the bees just love this plant. So I've been trying to get things out here that attracts the bees, because the bees are most important thing to the vegetable garden. Another view of the oregano, just covered with bees. Come down here this way, and we have our thyme. It's coming along real nice too. Also have some of these flower. This is a Salvia, I believe, some kind. This is very winter hardy here for Dallas. It lived through most of the winter. Another reason I liked it, and it keeps on producing these flowers and attracts the bees. Once again, I'm all about trying to get as many bees to the garden as we can. And this plant is a perennial here for us, so that's another reason I like it in our backyard. Loaded with flowers and bees. There's a bumblebee right there, actually. I think somewhere I saw one. That's just a bee, regular bee maybe. Over here in another bed I have some basil that I got from my mother-in-law. She had this huge bed of basil at her bed and breakfast, and we pulled up a few plants. They were quite small, and she didn't even plant those. They just seeded themselves, and she had a huge bed of basil. So we, took, well, this is 4 plants here. They were quite small, and now they're just loaded here with the basil leaves, as you can see. So I'm hoping just to leave these go, and maybe they'll reseed themselves, and we'll have more and more basil. Okay, real quick here, I just picked up a few things out of the garden. Wanted to show you these pole beans. I like to pick them when they're smaller, more tender. Okay, this one here is going to have a real small bean inside. This one will still be good to eat. It just have a little bit bigger bean than maybe you're used to eating. But if you forget some on the vine, this is the rattlesnake variety pole bean. If you forget them on the vine, you can hear this. This is dried out. So if I open this up, you can see there's some beans in there. And what I can do with these beans is just I'm going to save these beans, and you can cook these beans as a dried bean, or what I'm going to do is save them, and we'll have more beans to plant later on next spring. So if you let your beans get too big, Just leave them on there until they have dried up like this, and you'll have bean seeds. Here's our squash I was talking about. Really nice. Finally got some squash. I really thought the beans were all done making, but they're loaded down. There's still a lot of little baby beans on the vine. I just picked the ones that we had ready here. These are the bush beans here. And then of course we got some nice jalapenos ripened up on the vine. So there's just a little quick of what I got out of the garden this morning. A lot more out there still to go. So there's just a quick update of our garden. A few problems, a lot of good things going on. I got a few days here. I have some time to clean up the garden and get it all cleaned up and harvest a few things and get it ready for planting some more fall vegetables. So stay tuned. We got a lot more coming, and maybe even chickens. Yes, that's right. We're thinking about getting chickens. So stay tuned with that. Thanks for watching.